6 months ago, I discovered my husband Kevin Wilson was having an affair. The day before, we just celebrated our son's birthday together. I still remember our boy's eager face when Kevin pulled out that GoPro gift. His fatherly expression full of pride as he lectured about becoming a responsible young man now that you're older. I'd even posted on social media about feeling blessed at my age. Having a loving family and thriving business seemed enough. Yet the very next day, this same man claimed a client meeting to spend the night at a hot springs resort with some 20-year-old. This year marks our 10th wedding anniversary. We had our child during our 2nd year of marriage. Then co-founded a successful children's dance academy. Back then, I wore my achievements like armor. Who said motherhood derailed careers? Look at me, excelling at both. After surviving the startup phase, our annual earnings climbed to millions. For years, I basked in that pride until tonight's brutal reality check. Our son had been desperately trying to figure out his new GoPro's features after dinner. The two males of the house huddled together like eternal teenagers, smirking at their boys will be boys moment. I grabbed Kevin's phone to check the product specs. That's when the notification popped up. New lingerie arrived. He go easy on me tomorrow night, okay? My blood froze. Another message materialized. No ripping them like last time. Before I could react, gray text reading, image, appeared. My fingers moved autonomously opening the chat, waiting for the thumbnail to load. There she stood, a faceless young thing in white lace swimwear, arms strategically pressing her surgically enhanced chest to hide nipples while accentuating cleavage. Her toned waist and unmarked abdomen screamed youth, practically taunting my postpartum stretch marks. I exited the chat, marked it unread, and returned the phone exactly where I'd found it. Time teaches cruel lessons. Aging steals beauty but grants cold-blooded composure. While father and son remained oblivious in the living room, I retreated to the upstairs bathroom. Sinking into steaming water, I peeled open an ex-boyfriend facial mask, bitterly ironic branding, to strategize. Divorce? Let this balding 40-something-year-old leech walk away with half our marital assets to fund his sugar baby? My life's work handed to some gold-digging Twinkie? Staying? Condemn myself to watching Kevin spend our hard-earned money on his arm candy? By bedtime, Kevin already snored facing the wall, phone undoubtedly hidden under his pillow. Where I once saw exhaustion from providing, now only heard duck-like snorts. Plugging in noise-canceling earbuds with Chantal Chamberlain's Green Island Serenade, I opened WeChat and scrolled to a contact added months prior. Emmy the Bunny. Our chat history contained 2 messages. Director he. This is Emily from today's dance instructor interview. Hello. 4 months back. This girl had actually impressed during auditions until I overheard her bathroom rant about breeders inconveniencing everyone. She never got the job. Now I stared at her profile photo, same white swimsuit from Kevin's phone. I rarely scroll through social media, so I don't recall what Emily ever posted. 8 years ago at this exact time, I was writhing in agony during childbirth. Today, 8 years later, my son has already fallen asleep in his room clutching his favorite new gift. Yet here I am, listening to Kevin's thunderous snores, forced to comb through the social feed of a girl whose swimsuit my husband is about to rip off. How poetic. Emily broadcasts every saccharine detail publicly, except the man's identity. Her posts reveal their affair began 3 months ago. That day, they dined on dry-aged steak, the only kind I ever eat. 90 days of curing, sacrificing 40% of the meat's surface, retaining only the prime center cut. Expensive, exquisite. At my stage in life, indulging in such a steak feels earned. Yet Emily, at 23, casually savors it. They paired it with Gillardeau oysters and champagne, $5,000 meal for 2. Half that money was mine. She now flaunts a 718 convertible, soft top, pearlescent white with Bordeaux red roof. In her photo, endless legs lounge against the hood. Breathtaking. Half that car's price tag? Also mine. I knew from her job interview that Emily came from modest means. Yet online, she's transformed into an undisputed socialite princess. Realizing I've bankrolled half this charade, I snorted bitter laughter into the night. But can I still flip this game? Yes. Yes. I can. At dawn, I laid out Kevin's favorite outfit, lavender polo, navy slacks, monogram-covered loafers. He insists this look keeps him youthful, even pops the collar. To any woman, it reeks of midlife desperation. For years, I've hidden these clothes rather than confront him. Today, wear whatever makes you happy. Adjusting his most expensive watch, he preened before the mirror. Mr. Lee's team are heavy drinkers. Might have to stay over. 10 a.m. on a weekend. Mr. Lee? What business meeting starts then? My smile stayed placid. Drink less. Come home if you can. Absolutely. I'll help with homework if I'm back. Oscar-worthy delivery. Wonderful. My performance matched his. Predictably, Kevin drove off in his prized Mercedes. How pathetically predictable, risking everything for some trinket-baited girl. After reviewing morning reports from my stores, I dropped our son at his English tutor, then drove cross-town to meet an old classmate. Adult friendships thrive on mutual benefit, my skills for her resources. My connections for her capital. Though we hadn't spoken in years, she'd eagerly assist. Walking through her company's live streaming studios, I passed rows of willowy girls and chiseled male hosts, today's visual anchors. My targets were the men. Dozens of pretty faces later. None satisfied me. Handsome. Yes. But eyes screaming desperation. MS. Your standards have soared. My friend teased. Let's grab lunch. Maybe street sightings will reset your perspective. I smiled assent. As the elevator doors closed, Kevin's message arrived. His oily voice filled the cabin, don't wait up tonight. Die there if you must. I muttered. The estate's mine anyway. The grating voice note ended as someone shouted. Hold that. My finger hovered over the door open button and strode 6 feet of contradictions, savage magnetism softened by puppy dog eyes and dimples. A walking paradox designed to unravel women. Good afternoon, ma'am. His baritone resonated. Another livestream host. Then, at our floor, he anchored the door with one arm, gesturing us out first. Expertly practiced chivalry. This is the guy I want. How come you never introduced me to someone this quality? Him? Absolutely not. My old classmate's voice suddenly dropped. You said you needed to shoot promotional posters for your training center, but you passed on all the dance academy graduates. I think I know what you're after. If that's your plan, Luke is completely unsuitable. She leaned in and whispered solemnly. He has an STD. I was confused for a moment before bursting into laughter. So they thought I was some wealthy cougar shopping for gigolos? The universe rewards the persistent. The problem that had me stressed this morning suddenly presented its own solution. Luke, 27, had worked at bars after community college before becoming a streamer. His approach to relationships was strictly trial and error. 3 days after getting his number, he showed up punctually. I appraised his outfit, under $150 total, but that triple camera iPhone gleamed in his hand. Smart kid. Most girls wouldn't recognize quality tailoring but always notice expensive tech. I took him to the luxury department store first. Even basic white tees here started at $300. Then to the salon for that trendy celebrity haircut. Luke accepted everything eagerly, clutching shopping bags like they held golden tickets. The penthouse near downtown's business district made him freeze. As the agent listed the $28K monthly rent, I turned to ask, "Do you like it?" His stunned nod was answer enough. "Give us a moment," I told the agent, who exited with professional discretion. placing a folder in Luke's hands. I laid out the deal: play a trust fund kid. Seduce this woman using these profiles. This apartment's yours for 3 months. All expenses covered. $20,000 bonus upon success. His bewilderment shifted when I showed Emily's photo. Beauty's always useful, even as someone else's weapon. After the agent returned and accepted my $2K tip for the short lease, I warned Luke, no social media posts about any of this. Not one. Got it, sis. That casual address sealed our partnership. Next day, we rented a Lamborghini Gallardo, flashier than any Porsche 718. His eyes lit up holding those keys. During our test drive, he kept sneaking glances at his reflection in the darkened windows. At 6 p.m., we parked across from the glass-walled upscale gym where Emily hunted her prey. Kevin wasn't her only target, just the current mark. Through cave windows, I watched treadmill runners as golden hour gilded the equipment. Any minute now, she'd arrive in her skin-tight Lululemons, scanning for richer prey than yesterday's catch. Emily was running on the treadmill wearing overly tight workout clothes. Her lips rosy and complexion fair with an innocent vibe. Yet her figure was lethally captivating. The defined curve of her hips outlined by the athletic shorts made every man passing by the cardio area linger. She hadn't been running long when a young pretty boy hopped onto the neighboring treadmill, pretending to exercise for less than a minute before attempting to catcall "Hey beautiful." Emily shot him a frosty glare upon noticing his cheap clothes and obvious lack of funds. No gym membership pitches. No WeChat ads. A true pro. Moments later, Luke started running 2 machines over. Emily glanced his way once, then again, visibly approving of his chiseled features. But for 30 straight minutes, Luke kept his AirPods in and eyes forward, never acknowledging her. This only fueled Emily's interest. Who says only men enjoy the chase? Post-workout, as Luke filled his water bottle, Emily accidentally spilled ice water down his shirt, a masterstroke straight out of a Murdoch romance. They walked together to the underground parking where I'd instructed Luke to park his Lamborghini Huracan beside Emily's Porsche 718 Cayman. The automotive contrast worked as intended. I could practically see Emily's pupils dilate. Within 2 hours, Luke had her number. By week 2, Emily invited him to Disneyland. I nearly laughed, a gold-digging siren choosing such a saccharine date spot. When her Chanel flap got scratched in the crowds, Luke gallantly replaced it with a $40K Lady Dior at the boutique. That evening, he played the perfect gentleman, dropping her off at her gated community entrance to avoid the stalkerish ex waiting in the shadows, Mr. Song, that broke tech company procurement manager who'd blown his savings wooing Emily with counterfeit luxury gifts before she dumped him. Now Song was demanding repayment for 3 handbags and $30K in transfers, grabbing Emily's wrist and threatening police. But on this busy street at 11 p.m., Emily sneered, "Gifts stay gifted. Keep harassing me and I'll sue for sexual assault." When Song tried dragging her into an alley, Luke emerged from nowhere like a superhero, driving off the loser before tenderly asking, "Let me watch you get home safe." The Mickey ears hairclip still perched on Emily's head completed the damsel in distress act. As Luke suggested she temporarily relocate due to safety concerns, those calculated tears glistened just right. By 2 a.m., my burner phone buzzed with Luke's update: done. In 4 weeks. He transformed from Lamborghini stranger to live-in boyfriend, showering Emily with designer bags, all exquisite replicas, from his luxury high-rise. The kicker? This seasoned gold digger started buying Luke gifts, my stingy queen actually opening her wallet. Yet she still kept Kevin on the hook, effortlessly juggling mistress and girlfriend roles without smudging her lipstick. I sipped jasmine tea in the private lounge as Luke played Emily's latest voice notes aloud. "Hubby, my boss is being such a bitch," 3 separate complaints about her job troubles. We exchanged grins. Phase 2 would begin tomorrow. The message couldn't have been clearer. Is she expecting me to support her? Luke asked me helplessly. Should I agree? She spends like crazy. Over recent weeks, Luke had pieced together the whole picture. He knew I was the original spouse Emily had home-wrecked. "Are you worried about my money?" "A little. She's draining your wallet over there. And this one's doing the same here." I chuckled bitterly. Honestly, I hadn't even realized it myself. Leaning back, I glanced at Luke's phone. "If she doesn't want to work, let her quit. I'll cover her expenses." That weekend, Kevin attended an industry summit in Hangzhou. Emily joined him. At the conference, she clung to Kevin's arm with theatrical sweetness, their out-of-town anonymity fueling their shameless PDA. I watched from the shadows, numb. Luke stood beside me, studying my face. "Sis, let's go." That evening at their hotel, Luke materialized downstairs with roses per our plan. "Babe, I'm here, which room?" he texted. Emily had fabricated this business trip, even volunteering her hotel address to maintain her faithful girlfriend act. She never anticipated Luke's surprise visit. Fresh from the shower, Emily panicked at his message. Wrapped in a towel, she video called him. "Why the sudden visit? Can't live without you." Luke lied smoothly. "Every inch the devoted boyfriend. Missed you after one day apart." Emily's face drained of color, her lover's sweet talk now a ticking bomb, somehow explaining Kevin's presence. She raced downstairs. Their lobby kiss could have ignited fire alarms, all performative passion masking mutual dread. When Luke pressed to see her room, Emily claimed to be sharing with colleagues. "Get your own room. I'll come soon," she purred. He played along, waiting obediently. Mission Impossible had nothing on this farce. Tom Cruise couldn't out-scheme Emily. She'd only spend 18 minutes in Kevin's room before meeting Luke, barely enough time for anything. But returning now meant placating the older man, which undoubtedly involved certain services. Luke tailed her to room 8514. 20 minutes later, a hotel employee delivered Luke's roses. "Who is it?" Kevin's roar startled the poor bellhop. "Hotel staff." "Sir." "Not interested." The employee froze until Luke stormed over, slamming the doorbell repeatedly. Kevin yanked the door open, glaring at Emily. "You ordered this?" The men's first confrontation crackled with tension, Kevin genuinely baffled, Luke feigning shocked betrayal. As Emily turned ghostly, Luke unleashed his Oscar-worthy rage, hurling roses before punching Kevin to the ground. Like the Titanic's final moments, Emily abandoned ship, still in her bathrobe, to chase Luke. She found him smoking outside, the epitome of a heartbroken man. Yet Emily's composure held. Faced with annihilation, she spun a tale of poverty-driven desperation. The two timing? Mentorship repayment. Kevin? A persistent creep. Her eyes shone with fabricated tears, rewriting infidelity as tragic survival. "Honey, you have to believe me. He's a major client of the company. I didn't mention it because I was afraid you'd misunderstand. But I never imagined he'd do this, tricking me into coming to the hotel. If you hadn't shown up earlier, I would have really." Emily trembled like a frightened rabbit in Luke's arms, sobbing pitifully. Luke continued his performance, pretending to be convinced as he said, "Really? Then call him right now. Tell him you have a boyfriend and he should get lost. But he's our company's biggest client. What about my job?" Emily maintained her act. Luke played along. "Quit then. I'll take care of you." Hearing this, Emily's eyes immediately lit up with poorly concealed delight. Though still feigning hesitation, she coldly called Kevin to preserve her relationship with Luke. I could imagine Kevin raging on the other end, likely smashing the hotel room TV against the wall, his signature tantrum move. After returning from Hangzhou, Emily quit her job. To make this arrangement more convincing, I had Luke give her $8,000 and spending money on her first day moving in, promising more for good behavior. The bank notification truly sent Emily into euphoria. She dragged Luke out for an instant shopping spree. After they left, I used the spare key to check our prepared props remained undisturbed. Though our plan had been flawless so far, Luke's natural acting talent sometimes made even me question what was real. A sliver of doubt crept in. Could this pretty boy actually switch sides? As for Emily, I had to admit her skills were formidable. Facing such opponents required contingency plans to ensure absolute success. Kevin had been gloomy since returning from Hangzhou, constantly checking his phone with that pathetic lovesick expression. I suppressed my disgust. How laughable for a 40-something man to think he'd found true love. His little mistress not only had a boyfriend, but said boyfriend had beaten him up. The ultimate humiliation came when Emily blocked him everywhere after their confrontation. Enraged, Kevin reported his 718 sports car stolen, smart enough at least to keep major assets under his own name. Emily was summoned to the police station, with Luke naturally tagging along. During Luke's call to me, I heard Emily shrilly accusing Kevin, "You gave me that car. I didn't steal anything. Why should I return gifts from a creep 20 years older harassing me?" Even her fake sobs drowned out the rest. But I knew better than to expect decency from her. Hanging up, I felt strangely hollow. By all measures, I'd succeeded. Emily had completely severed from Kevin. Yet watching my husband of 10 years being torn apart by this gold digger brought no satisfaction. Only profound weariness. But the game board was set, and even I couldn't stop the pieces now. Kevin, you traitor, this isn't even your lowest point yet. Kevin had been gloomy since returning from Hangzhou, constantly checking his phone with that pathetic lovesick expression. I returned late to find him drowning his sorrows in the living room. After observing his pathetic state, I sat across from him. "Kevin, we need to talk." His bloodshot eyes blinked in confusion as I slammed the evidence photos on the table. "You're having an affair?" The color drained from Kevin's face. "Honey, let me explain," he began automatically, then froze when he saw the damning images. For 10 years, I never imagined. My voice broke with practiced tears. The last time Kevin saw me cry was during childbirth. The memory visibly shattered him. After a stunned moment, he collapsed to his knees, clutching my legs as his drunken apologies spilled out. "Baby, I was wrong. I lost my mind. I'm a piece of shit. I swear I'll never do it again." Kevin's voice cracked with sincerity, his palms slapping his own cheeks hard enough to sting. I kept silent, tears streaming down my face, a tactic I'd learned from Emily. He begged all night, raw desperation in every word. I knew he meant it, but I also knew men forget pain the moment wounds heal. Alone in the bathtub that evening, I texted Luke, "Initiate phase 3. When Emily called, I wasn't surprised. Kevin and I were taking our son to the aquarium that afternoon. Though I'd refused intimacy since discovering his affair, we'd maintained perfect parental teamwork. Lately, he'd transformed, suddenly noticing when I switched body lotions, murmuring, "Honey, you smell amazing," against my ear. Too little, too late. Kevin flinched when his phone buzzed but silenced it instantly, hoisting our son higher to point at a stingray. Last week's final instruction to Luke had been clear: ghost Emily. The fake sugar baby persona vanished, returned leased goods, deactivated burner phone, $20,000 wired to Guangdong. When Emily realized the designer bags were knockoffs and her meal ticket evaporated, she pivoted to plan B: bombard Kevin. That night, shower steam still clinging to him, Kevin wordlessly handed me his phone. Emily's texts blazed across the screen, climaxing with, "I'm pregnant, it's yours." I raised an eyebrow. Without hesitation, he called her back on speaker. Voice glacial, "You know damn well whose kid that is. Take the abortion money or don't, we're done." Then blocked her everywhere. 3 days later, as Kevin built Legos with our son, a new number threatened, "Meet me at Swan Lake tonight or I'll expose everything." Followed by 9 p.m. No show? I'll jump. We arrived together, me watching from the idling Mercedes as Kevin approached the shadowy figure. Emily's shriek carried across the water, "You'll regret this." She lunged toward my window when she noticed me. Mascara rivers etching her distorted face. "Happy now? You frigid bitch?" "How fascinating," the mistress screaming at the wife. I smiled. Her puffy eyes and unraveled hair satisfied me more than any revenge plot. This was why I'd stayed calm upon discovering the affair. Better her ugly breakdown than mine. The drive home stank of Kevin's nauseating apologies. "It's over." I lied. He shut up. When Emily FaceTimed me days later. "Snarling, enjoying your hollow victory?" I chuckled. "Did you really think wrecking homes came consequence-free?" Through the screen. Her red-rimmed eyes widened, finally understanding she'd been the mark all along. But Emily didn't show an ounce of remorse. Instead, she laughed scornfully. "So what if I did? I got what I wanted. The only reason I called today is to tell you I still have evidence of your husband's affair. Wire me $5 million, and I'll disappear forever. Otherwise, your precious company, the one you built from scratch with Kevin, might face some unfortunate consequences." Her voice trembled ever so slightly beneath that fake calm. "Amusing. Sweetheart." I drawled. "Who exactly would you send those proofs to? Our colleagues? Clients? Parents?" My nails tapped the desk. "Do you really think the world revolves around Kevin's dick? We're not some publicly traded corporation. A nicely worded "let's handle this privately" statement would shut this down before lunch." The line went silent. "Oh. And Emmy?" I flipped through the surveillance photos on my tablet. "Did you know I've had investigators tracking your little escapades? Which video do you think would trend harder, Kevin cheating? Or the one where you're bouncing between his bed and Luke's?" I didn't mention Luke worked for me. Let her wonder. Her sharp inhale crackled through the speaker. You. Luke visited a urologist last month. By the way." I smiled at the choked sob. "Tested positive for chlamydia." The line went dead before her scream finished echoing. Kevin stood frozen in our dining room that evening. His apology dinner steaming between us. "Emily called," I said, watching a bead of sweat slide down his temple. "Said she's got an STD. His fork clattered against the china. "From Luke." I leaned closer, savoring the way his knuckles whitened around the tablecloth. "The same Luke she's been screwing. The same Luke you refused to use condoms with because," my laugh came out icy, "it doesn't feel as good." The table flipped with a deafening crash. Porcelain shards skittered across our imported hardwood as Kevin roared curses. I climbed the stairs to the sound of his guttural rage. Each step lighter than the last. 3 days later. A new iPhone dinged on my desk. "Unknown number, it's Luke. Please. We need to talk." The SIM card snapped cleanly between my scissors. Through the office window, I watched the tiny chip fall into the hazardous waste bin, right where it belonged.